crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency, and Drew Martin was just with us. And Drew's a humble guy, but Drew casually dropped once on us about, I was a high school quarterback. And he wasn't just a high school quarterback. Like, Drew was like a high school quarterback in a league with guys that are in the NFL, because Drew knows that I know Darius Butler on the Pat McAfee show, but Darius Butler, a longtime Indianapolis Colt and New England Patriot defensive back. And Drew goes, I don't, whatever, this is a crazy story, but he goes, I actually beat out Darius Butler once for the starting quarterback position of a football team. And I said that to Darius Butler. He goes, who said that? Right? Who, what? Yeah. And I told him, I said, this guy Drew and this stuff. And I showed him, he's like, oh, yeah. And so he's like, yeah, man. He goes, yeah, I remember that dude. Like, Drew Martin. And, Darius is like, yeah, look at me now, though. He started laughing, right? He goes, did he make it to the NFL? I was like, no, he didn't make it. I said he bets on the NFL now. I say he bets on the NFL now.
Wasn't Drew behind Jason Campbell, Gabe? It was Jason Campbell and
Jason. He was on the same team as Jason Campbell. Yeah.
That's so
imagine
amazing.
Dave Delano steps. Remember Jason Campbell, the Auburn quarterback? Jason, like our boy Drew was just on. He was on there, like he was ahead of Jason Campbell before. Like he was a big time quarterback. So, Drew knows quarterbacking, but guys, there's it's called the Elite 11. It's going on in LA. It just wrapped up today in Los Angeles. And it's the top 20. It's called 11, but it's actually more than 11 people would go. It's basically the top 20 high school quarterbacks that have already committed and stuff. So, like, they have 1 year of high school left. They're going to be starting not this year, but next year and stuff like that, whatever. And the numbers are insane, guys. 16 of the last 17 Heisman Trophy voters have been at this camp. 27 of the 32 starting quarterbacks in the NFL have been at this camp. Wow. Like, that's how, and so, like, I'm ahead of the curve, Delano, here. This is how D-Jet I am. I'm like, that's how my brain thinks. I'm looking at this, and I'm like, so the next Heisman Trophy winner's on this list, and I'm going to get them at big odds because no one knows who the hell these kids are. So I just got to get a couple of the right ones along the way here. But you're in a high school hotbed out there in the Houston area. I've been there. I've been to Katy High School before. It's where Roger Clemens and his kids went. That stadium is nicer than most CFL stadiums are.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking off there.
That's where the UFL should play. It'd be nicer. They put the UFL team out in Katy. The Roughnecks.
Yeah. But some of it, they pay some of these coordinators out here even for some 500 teams. And the way my mind works, you had said Jason Campbell. I was thinking of that long list of Browns quarterbacks. I think Jason Campbell made a start or two back along that stretch as well.
He's on Washington. He was on a few teams.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Dave, I've been in big soccer mode. I don't know about you. I didn't bet any baseball today. I've been looking at the College Baseball World Series. Did you bet any Major League Baseball today?
Yeah, I did bet on some Major League Baseball. Had a winning day overall. Ended the day with a over the total in that Negro League tribute game with St. Louis and San Francisco. Went 3-2 on my picks and just had a little bit of a heartbreaker with the Twins. I was on the Twins in an early game. One of the downsides, they came back 4 runs in the ninth, but couldn't hold on in the and win in extra innings. But had a winning day overall in baseball.
So let's. I haven't even looked at the weekend series very much. Like I said, I've been in soccer mode with all this stuff that's been going on. But the Mets and Cubs this weekend. The Mets don't look now, but the Mets have actually been winning games. You got the D-backs and Phillies, White Sox and Tigers, Rays and Pirates, Braves and Yankees. Yankees coming off the Baltimore series where they gave up 1 million runs today. The Boston Red Sox, the red-hot Boston Red Sox in Cincinnati this weekend. Seattle is in Miami, a good spot for Seattle to get back on track. The Blue Jays, speaking of trying to get back on track, they're in Cleveland. We got KC in Texas, Baltimore, Houston, Washington, Colorado, Milwaukee, San Diego, Minnesota, Oakland, and LA, the Angels and the Dodgers. What do you think about the weekend slate, Dave?
Well, I'll start off with one of the ugly ones that's probably getting overlooked with the Tigers and the White Sox. One of the things I like, we actually have a pretty good pitching matchup going on Friday with Jack Flaherty for the Tigers, Eric Fetty going for the White Sox. And one thing about both of these teams and why there's probably a lack of interest in it, but if you want to win some money, I think you should focus on it, is both of these teams have really struggled scoring.
There's a lack of interest in the White Sox and Tigers game. And tickets will not be, I'm sure you can get in for
walk in.
Yeah, the Tigers coming in ice cold in this one. I mean, they've scored 1 run or less in 4 out of their last 5 games. And we've seen the White Sox, they've scored 3 runs or less in 7 of their last 9. And they haven't faced, they faced some decent pitchers, but not in all of those games. So even with a total of 7.5, when you look at how well both of those pitchers are pitching, the Tigers had an off day today. Bullpen should be rested. I think that we may see some low-scoring games in that series with the White Sox and the Tigers.
Cam, you played the baseball tonight?
No, actually, Gabe, I did. I played the soccer all day today, and I played my golf matchup bets, and I came second with Batea, and Tom Kim was leading. So shout out to Brady Cannon, who had him as one of his picks this week. No, I didn't even play any baseball. It's the first night I actually didn't bet a baseball game. It was crazy. Just soccer and golf and ladies golf.
Yeah, a lot of golf. We got the Live going on in Nashville as well. And, of course, the Stanley Cup final tomorrow. So, Dave, are you surprised that we're still playing right now? Have you been betting on the Oilers the last couple of games? Or how do you think this is going to play out tomorrow night as well?
Yeah, so before the series started, I had Florida winning in 7 games. But I will say that once this got to 3-1, I really I did bet on Florida in Game 5. I thought that it was I did think that Florida was over in that one. So looking at this Game 6, I am going to be betting on it. I've already bet on the total on this game. I probably will bet on the side as well. And when I'm looking at this, just because I picked Florida before the series, I thought Florida was the better team. And then you look at history and you think, okay, a team's up 3-0. Eventually, even though it's 3-2, the team up 3-0 is going to win a game. Looking at it from that aspect, it's tempting to take Florida. But when I look at what I've seen recently, Borowski looks like he's getting a little tired. And also the Edmonton Oilers, no one's been able to stop them offensively at home throughout the postseason. One of the reasons I bet the over so far for Game 6 The Oilers, in their 11 postseason games, they've scored at home. They've scored at least 3 goals or more in 10 of those 11 games. So I would say it's a pretty safe bet, even though I see it's juiced. There's some 2.5 team totals over there. I don't think that there's any way that the Oilers get held below 3 goals. I think that they get 3 or 4. And I like the over, and I think that the Edmonton Oilers are going to force a Game 7 just based off of what I'm seeing. I like the Oilers, and I like the over.
I like where you're going with that. It's hard. It's impossible to bet the under in this spot. An elimination game as well. Potentially, let's say Florida are winning, could lead to some empty net goals and potential, Edmonton getting desperate late. But I like the over myself tomorrow, Cam, because I think they're going to get to Bobrovsky again. And as Dave just eloquently stated about the success at home, and you talk about it, Dave, too, before. And look, they still haven't even gotten anything from Leon Draisaitl. But before, they were still scoring, but they weren't clicking like they are now. Like Connor McDavid has raised this. This is like Mahomes type stuff that he's doing now. He's got 8 points in the last 2 games. The Edmonton Oilers have outscored the Panthers 13-4 in the last 2 games. They've stopped 32 of the last 33 power plays. Like everything is starting to lock in right now for the Oilers. I think we're going 7.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
This is SportsRage. I am Gabriel Morency. The Pips, the players, the hustlers, the people that bust them, and everybody else in between. A lot of stuff to get to. I'm going to get to the Matt Stafford and his wife a little bit later on. But I've told people for years about her. I was on top of it like years ago. And I never talk about people's wives and athletes. I'm not going to do that. But if you're going to have a podcast and you're going to put your life out there and you're going to throw pretzels at people at games and you're going to do like the things that you do, then you know what, we'll call you out for it. But it's actually like so crazy that it was like it took me like a couple of minutes to wrap my head around what I was like watching and why she was saying this. And Twitter is blowing up just for the record. So what's her name? Kelly Stafford. She was on a podcast. We can't play the clip because not our thing. I think it's a Barstool. I think it was one of the Barstool podcasts. One of the girls. I don't know what she's called, but nevertheless, I don't want the headache of stealing their clips. So she's on the podcast. Then it's basically they talk about like dating athletes on this show a lot and stuff. So and it's like no holds barred, and the girl asked Kelly, so tell me about you and Matt Stafford. She said, well, we both went to Georgia and stuff, and she said, at first, to try to get him, she said, I slept with the backup quarterback. And she's like, what? She goes, yeah, I slept with the backup quarterback and let him know about it. And, so she started talking about sleeping with the quarterback and about like trying to upset Stafford. And even the host is like blown away by this. And it's almost like you got to see it to believe it. But like even our boy Sean Merriman, who's a regular on our show, like was just blown away by this. Imagine being a defensive lineman now, right? And you're a defensive player. You're going to be lining up and you're going to be talking about his wife now to him and stuff. Right, like they're gonna know all this story. People know who the backup quarterback is and the whole deal. And she's already put him in bad spots a bunch of times before when she talked about how all the kids don't respect him on the Rams and no one knows who he is and stuff like that, and he doesn't get along with them. Right, like she never should have said that publicly. But this video today is mind blowing, and it's not surprising. Because Matthew Stafford makes like $55 million a year, and he's doing like a legal will commercial that they probably got paid about $7,000 to do, and I'm sure it wasn't his idea. All right, so like to do this ad. So anyone look up the video and stuff. It's absolutely it's a crazy ass crazy video, and like I said, I would get a divorce personally. I told Sean Merriman that today. I was like, yeah, this is divorce worthy. Like she basically, you know what I mean? Like I said, there'd be no turning back from this one. Yeah. The only problem is she probably knows he won't get a divorce because she's going to get like $200 million of his money. And he's made a lot of money, Stafford. So she's got him by the balls, literally and figuratively, Dave.
Well, like the great philosopher Chris Rock said, I mean, you just can't make a woman happy. I mean, God, a Super Bowl ring and all those millions of dollars. Why would you say that publicly? Like, just be quiet and enjoy it.
Why does she go on shows? That's the whole point.
He's been played like next to Drake. No one's been played more than Stafford now this week. Right? Like seriously, like Stafford, like this, like I said, NFL players are like, what? And imagine like just being on the line, man. Like guys are going to be talking all the time now at him and stuff. It's crazy. It's a crazy video, and I was seeing it. It's watching it. You're like, you got to be kidding me. And one thing I'll say about Stafford, I don't feel bad for him because I remember when they won the Super Bowl. He got all, he was like really, really wasted at like the parade and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys remember, there was a photographer that was there and she took a picture of Stafford and his wife and she fell over backwards. Like she was like setting up the picture. She fell off the stage backwards and like really injured herself. Like she plummeted like 14 feet, like onto the ground and stuff. And Matt Stafford laughed at her and turned around and started laughing and walked away. He was not concerned at all. And wow. I was like, man, no wonder he's married to her. They're just both jerks. Like, that's what I came to the conclusion to. I was like, he's a great quarterback, but, I don't think they're the nicest people, the Staffords. But for people tuning in that haven't seen the video, watch it. And, it's better than I've explained even. You're like, you won't believe it when you're watching it, when she starts talking about their marriage and stuff on this show. But speaking of LA, and like I said, too, and shout out to Martinez, who's in the Bay Area. Speaking of that, too, if you guys remember, she hit a 49er fan in the head with a pretzel a couple of years ago in a game.
That's right.
Which anyone else would have gotten late. You can't do that. Remember last year, she accused the Lion fans of accosting her and her kids when it wasn't true. Nobody accosted. They were nice to Stafford and stuff, and they were, you know what I mean? There was videos and stuff. No one accosted her. When she was in Detroit, too, Stafford was the quarterback, and she sold tickets. She had like 4 tickets to a game, and she sold the tickets in Detroit instead of just giving them away when her husband is the freaking quarterback of the Detroit Lions. And then when she got called out for it, I think she called in a radio station. She said, they're my effing tickets. I can do what I want with them. Right? Like, she's like relentless. If anything, I'll give her like credit.
Yeah.
It turns out she's been this way since college, evidently. But I just had to get that. I had to get that out there about Matt Stafford. It's too much. But on the other side, I actually do like the Rams this year. I think the Rams are going to be a good football team. And I want to get Delano's thoughts on J.J. Redick being hired as the head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Caruso gets dealt to the Oklahoma City Thunder, which is an awesome move for the Thunder.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
This is SportsRage. And exactly, I'm looking at the chat. Chris Brady in our chat goes, "Oh my God, I just watched the Kelly Stafford stuff." So, and I said, I wish we could play it. Maybe later on, I'll read it word for word. We could do that. Like I said, it's been broken down into what she's actually, her exact words. But like I said, I told you guys, go check it out online. So J.J. Redick, big news today. J.J. Redick becomes a new head coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. Dave, you bet a lot of NBA basketball. You're a big NBA guy. What do you think of the move? Are you like, oh yeah, now I want to bet on the Lakers, or oh yeah, I want to fade the Lakers now? Or this makes no difference to the Lakers. What's your take on J.J. Redick and what it means to the Lakers moving forward?
I like to see JJ get a chance, but when it comes to a betting perspective, it's yet to be seen. It doesn't make too much of a difference to me. I think that this means about as much as a lot of these moves in the NBA. In the NBA, we've seen over the last couple of years, there's a real defined line between being a championship coach and just getting fired. So whether or not ultimately this is a good move or not, it's going to come down to, how healthy and consistent can Anthony Davis be? How much more does LeBron James have in the tank, and what pieces can the Lakers put around him? I think that if the roster kind of stands pat or goes in looking similar to what it is, they're probably looking at a 6, 7, 8 seed again, and probably a first round loss depending on the matchup. Maybe they'll get into the second round. But the thing with the NBA, there's so much talent. This isn't really a situation where it's like Hoosiers or Coach Carter, where you're going to have a coach come in there and just be able to work miracles. In the NBA, it's going to depend what the front office can do. And for the Lakers to be the Lakers in Los Angeles in such a big market, they really have operated a little bit like a small market franchise other than landing LeBron James. They really haven't been able to make a lot of the moves that you think that they could make. So unless the organization can add some better pieces, I just think that they're going to be the same old Lakers. Decent.
It's a good point. I agree with pretty much everything you said in a sense, too, about the Lakers, as crazy as it sounds. They do act in a way like not a small market, but their arrogance. A good example is going back. They wanted Tyronn Lue to be a coach, right? A couple of years ago before the Clippers. And Lue basically told people after, they said, why wouldn't you take the Laker job? He goes, they were going to make me like the 17th highest paid coach in the league to coach the Lakers. Look what they did with Hurley. They they fly Hurley in and waste the guy's time to make him the 6th highest paid coach in the league. Like, you know what I mean? Because they think, wow, we're the Lakers. You know what I mean? They'll take it. It's they have that sort of cowboy feel. You're lucky we're even offering you the job in the first place. And you're right, even as far as players are concerned. And I like J.J. Redick, but my deal with him is, and I agree with Dave, it doesn't matter, guys. That roster is the roster. You, me, Cam could be the coach. Frank Vogel could be the coach. Darwin Ham could be the coach. It's the same damn thing. You'll be in the play-in. You'll be 7th or 8th. And, LeBron James runs the everything. So what's going to change? And then conversely, too, if you're J.J. Redick, I do buy into the fact he's a smart, modern basketball mind and all this type of stuff. But you know this, Dave. Good. The Lakers can't shoot threes. Like, they can't play the style that J.J. Redick, and you know this. J.J. Redick is Mr. Analytics, bro. He's everything modern. Anthony Davis, these guys that they have don't fit in with what J.J. Redick wants to do. Hell, LeBron doesn't fit in with what J.J. wants to do.
Bronny will fit in, right?
Yeah, and that's another thing. Yeah, he got to deal with Bron. That was part of the package, too.
I think it's a bad hire, Gabe, too, just working from ESPN and just coming in there. Like, it's basically Reg Dunlop from Slapshot, LeBron's player coach. End of discussion. And then you come in there, and then you see this guy on TV and stuff. I think it's actually a horrible idea. And I don't think it's gonna do very well at all. But you got to bring up the point. Is it going to make them any worse? I don't know. But I'll tell you one thing. You think that guy's going to have control over that team compared to a guy like LeBron
he will.
James and the veterans on that team? I'm not sure about that.
That's the thing. That's why he got the job, is because LeBron James will approve of what he wants to do, right? That's why he got the job, through the podcast. Like Windhorst said, he goes, the interview were the podcast that they did together, right? The X and O type of talk. And it's ironic, too. There's a funny story, an anecdote. Carmelo Anthony told it, too, so it's straight from reality. And Melo said that Kobe Bryant hated J.J. Redick in real life. Welcome to L.A., J.J. You're coaching the Lakers, and it took about an hour before it comes out that the legend didn't like you. But there was a reason why, and it was funny.
crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency, and Drew Martin actually sent us a list of baseball picks. He was with us earlier, and we were talking about the hockey. I think Dave's got a couple of baseball picks, a couple of more, too, before we get him out of here. Big Card Julio will step up and in. This is what Drew's looking at tomorrow. New York Mets, Arizona, Philadelphia over, the Detroit Tigers, Atlanta Braves, Seattle Mariners, Boston Red Sox, and the Baltimore Orioles tomorrow. You talked about the Tiger and the White Sox game. I brought up the Mariners briefly, but it's a little chalky on the road against the Marlins tomorrow. Anything else on the baseball card, Dave, before we get you out of here that you like for tomorrow?
Well, it is another one that's a little chalky on the road, but I agree with Drew on is the Baltimore Orioles. I like that one a lot. It's the Orioles right now, along with the Guardians. They're almost one of those teams that you want to ride every game. They're the third most profitable team in baseball. They're going up against the third worst in the Houston Astros. Houston Astros are going to be starting Jake Bloss tomorrow, making his major league debut. He had great numbers, but at the high A level and the double A level, Grayson Rodriguez going for the Orioles. They're 5-1 in his road starts. He's also a Houston native, so I think that's there'll be some motivation there. Astros just haven't been playing well, so I do like the Orioles. Might want to do a little bit of a run line, money line split to get better value, but I do like that one as well a lot.
Dave Delano kicking with us. Dave, it's always a pleasure, my man. Great stuff. Before we get you out of here, are you getting into the Copa? Are you a soccer guy at all? Copa, Euro Cup, have you been betting the soccer?
I've been following it. I haven't been really betting on it. I guess I've been kind of practicing a little bit as far as following the games and thinking what I would bet on if I was going to bet on it. And those leans on the side haven't been doing well enough for me to jump into it.
You're a disciplined man. So, yeah, you're doing a side test, and you realize, I don't want to do this for real.
Just the side test. And as far as am I a soccer guy, I mean, I do coach 6-year-olds on the side for soccer, but not as far as betting wise. I'm following it to get into it more, but I haven't bet on it. Haven't been.
It's not translating into handicapping. You're like not yet. Like Rodney Dangerfield, coaching the kids. Like ladybugs. It's not translating into soccer geniusness. 5-3 San Diego right now. Milwaukee do have runners on first and second with 2 out as we're watching. We got our eye on this baseball game. Dave, where can people find you online as you continue to crush the baseball cards? Where can people find you?
You can find me on picksandparlays.net and winnersandwhiners.com, and also at Get Sports Strong on X. And one last thing, if I was going to bet on soccer tomorrow just for practice, I was thinking of Poland. They're about plus 230 on the money line, so that's my lead for tomorrow as I'm practicing on the soccer is Poland against Austria tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Great stuff, Dave. It's always a pleasure, man. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much. Have a good one.
There's Dave Delano with us. Poland and Austria tomorrow. Austria plus 110. I got to tell you, Cam. Well, you know what? We have France and the Netherlands tomorrow. We get to that, but tomorrow you look at these games after today, and today there were like a lot of high glamour games: England, Denmark, Spain, Italy, Canada, Argentina, and now it's like Slovakia and the Ukraine. It's a little tougher. And, you know, I'll be betting it, but, like, I know more about a lot of these other countries than I do about Ukrainian soccer right now. Poland and Austria.
I can tell you one thing, Gabe. Poland and Austria, you want to talk about, we talked about Austria in the first game with the high elbows and the leg kicks and the cleats up, and Poland, you know the way they like to rock. Like the Polish, man, those guys are tough as nails. These guys are like walking in. Like you see some of the stoutness of these guys. I'll tell you, that game is going to get... You like cards? You like anger? Poland, Austria's got a tough game written all over it. It's going to be a real, like, maybe not as much skill, but a lot of bloodbath in that one, a lot of dirty tackles. Should be an interesting match.
Euro soccer as a whole is very, very physical. As you see the differences. Watching the Copa tonight, Canada and Argentina versus these European games, there wasn't really a lot of contact in the Canada Argentina game. They started, you know what? They racked up the cards late. I know because I bet under 4.5 cards, but they racked up the cards late in the game. It got a little chippy. Canada got a little frustrated and started taking some cheap shots late. But it's something moving forward. I don't know if it was just the referee tonight or if it's a Copa thing, right? It's different styles, man. You get different referees. You know, the Euro, the Netherlands don't play the same style of soccer as Brazil do, as Argentina, and as Uruguay. Like, it's different. This is like, so, you know, we all know, too, the Copas, it's a little bit more wide open normally, and they do let a lot of stuff go. So I think the undercards could be worth a look. We'll keep our eye on this in the Copa about them not calling anything. And in the Euro, to be honest, they're letting a hell of a lot go. But Cam is right. Poland and Austria will be a very physical match. Austria, to some, were kind of a dark horse coming into this tournament. Like, they were big time, like, you know, big time odds. No one like to win, but people think they're pretty good. And we saw they played pretty well in their first match as well.
They did.
I think that I think Austria is going to win this match against Poland. They're plus 110. We saw today. The goals were very tough to come by. They're starting to slow down a little bit. We had a couple of like blowouts earlier in the Euro Cup. I would be thinking once again tomorrow, I'm not looking to bet any overs. Slovakia and the Ukraine, this should be like a slugfest. You know, I mean, 1-0, 0-0, max 1-1. I don't believe that either. I don't think that game is getting to 3 goals. I like the under 2.5 in that game. We're just talking about Poland and Austria, another game. This is another one. I don't think there's going to be a ton of goals in this one. I'll be looking at the under 2.5. And then you get into Netherlands and France. This is the blue blood special of the day tomorrow. The Netherlands got a draw in their first match. They were okay. They weren't great. They missed a couple of opportunities. It wasn't the end of the world. And then, of course, France hung on and won their first match. Word is Mbappe will play tomorrow with the broken nose, right? It's been up in the air. They're holding it close, like secretly guarded and stuff, whether he's going to play or not. But he's been training and practicing with the starters, and it's expected that he's going to play with a mask tomorrow. So if you're wondering about Mbappe, he's supposed to play. France plus 115, Netherlands plus 260, draw plus 225. What's your pick for that game, Cam?
I think that game actually is the one that could go over. I could see some goals in that game, maybe 2-1. I'm thinking because both teams can score. The Netherlands have skilled players, and you know how good France is, Gabe. So this is a game I think that could open up a bit. So I would lean over in that game. And we hit the under with the England game today and Spain and Italy. Good call by me and you. I think we were both on Spain in the 1-0 win today. So it was a pretty good day in the Euro. Too bad Canada couldn't hold them to 1 goal plus 1.5, losing 2-0. But I'm going to say this. We talked about England, and after that 1-0 lead, that was very uninspired performance there. They couldn't pull away in that game. They had lapses where, you were watching the game going, what the hell is going on here? And we've talked about these guys as kind of a false favorite, and very disappointed if you're a fan of the Three Lions. I was not very impressed with England at all, especially they couldn't pull away in that game, and they got a draw.
I actually hit the draw. We won. I bet the draw in that game. I was not surprised. I talked about it a lot last night, but I thought this game would be super close. England needs to open things up a little bit. I wouldn't panic. The British media are going to panic because they didn't, you know what I mean? They didn't win 3-1 or whatnot. Southgate is on the hot seat. I don't think they're going to win the tournament. Southgate himself coming into the tournament said, he goes, I'm aware that if we don't win the tournament, I'm coaching my last games. So I think he might be a little tight. He needs to open things up a little bit.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
This is SportsRage. I am Morency. We're kicking it. Countdown to puck drop. Stanley Cup Finals tomorrow night. So, yeah, Netherlands and France tomorrow. And I said they draw. Netherlands came back and tied late, and then they won late. Then there was a big sea of orange. It was absolutely insane. That should have been a video that I got the other day. It went on for like miles and miles and miles through the streets of Germany, like these orange jerseys after that Netherlands game. Netherlands, France tomorrow. So like I said, Mbappe, I'll look more into it now in a second here. But Mbappe is supposed to play tomorrow. They haven't announced it, but it looks like he will. This is where France's class should show up here. I think France are going to beat them. You're getting the same price. It's essentially like the Italy game today. The Netherlands are going to give up a lot of chances to France. The key is, will France bury their opportunities? Canada couldn't tonight, and it happens to the best of them. We saw Messi miss 2 breakaways tonight. We saw Mbappe miss a breakaway and a half. Partial, he had a clear side the other day. He missed weak kick attempt. He missed on a clear breakaway the other night as well. France missed like 3 to 4 opportunities that they would normally bury in their first game. And I think the Netherlands are going to have a really hard time scoring on France personally. So I'm actually part of the crew that I think it's going to be a big underwave tomorrow. Like under 2.5 in every game. I'm going to rack up a parlay. Is Julio ready? Speaking of soccer bets, let us know when Julio's ready to go. Big card Julio. Julio, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Look, hey, we've got a shot. England 12-1 not to qualify, baby. Let's go. Slovakia and Scotland even money. That's looking really good. I mean, that they're minus 200 right now, so I'm feeling good. And hey, tip my cap to the Canadians, man. 2-0 result against Argentina. They didn't get the goals when the chances they created, but I thought they played very, very, very well. I told you, Gabe, online, I mentioned it maybe a couple of weeks ago, plus 250 to qualify. With the loss, they're now plus 300. I mean, I think they qualify. I like the group they're in. If they can get 4 points, I think they qualify.
You know what? Last week, I was sort of like, oh, man, it's going to be tough. Because a lot of people don't really know soccer, and everyone starts talking soccer at this time of the year. And I'm not pretending that I'm the biggest soccer expert in the world. But a lot of people were sort of like, oh, Canada will qualify. It's Peru and Chile. Neither of those teams are going to be easy to beat. Like Canada, but the thing is, Canada, like, let's be real. If Canada can't beat Peru, we got problems. So we need to beat Peru. And then it comes down to Chile, like you said, Julio. And I got to be honest with you, what I saw tonight was very, very, very positive. If you're Canada, like the team Canada lost tonight, guys, but I guarantee you, like they're going to be buzzing in the hotel right now about, wow, like, you know what I mean? Like they should have scored. They didn't. It is what it is. People thought they were going to get steamrolled. They didn't. They can tighten things up. Clearly the nerves are going to be there. I like the fact that their next game is against Peru as well, instead of going right into Chile here. Let Chile deal with Argentina. And then we can, deal with that after. So what I thought, Julio and Cam, was I liked, you were talking about it. I saw an odds boost, Julio, at plus 250 for Canada to qualify. And then I said to myself, you know what? As much as I'm pulling for them here, and I did bet on a draw a bit tonight, I was like, they're not going to beat Argentina tonight. Like, it might be close, but I don't think they're actually going to win the game. So why don't I wait until after the game to bet them to advance? And like you just said, Julio, plus 300, and I got a boost here right now, plus 325. Canada to qualify for the next round. I'm going to bet this, guys, plus 325. It'll max me out at a $100 bet here, but I'm going to put 100 on it to win 425.
They probably need a win against Peru and a draw against Chile.
Yep.
Well,
yeah, I agree.
It'll come down to goal differential, but Chile beats Peru as well. And then depends on what happens with Chile and Argentina.
Losing 2-0 to Argentina is not too bad, Morency. Too bad it could have been 2-1. That would be like we'd be in a real nice spot. But I still think it's possible.
Chile have tied them before. They talked about that tonight at the Copa. It wasn't the last one, but 2 Copas ago, Chile did tie Argentina. So Chile are really good, like basically. Yeah. But the way I look at it is, all right, Canada beats Peru, and I got plus 325, and we'll see how the goal differentials play out. But I think Canada's confidence level will be sky high moving forward after today. All right, so tomorrow, Julio, France and the Netherlands. Like I said, it looks like Mbappe is going to play in this match. France looked really good in their first game. They just didn't bury their opportunities. I think they're going to beat the Netherlands tomorrow. Plus 115. France is my pick. Who do you like tomorrow?
I'm going to take the over 2.5 goals, and I think France should be able to get it done. I think I heard you and Cam talking about this match earlier. 2-1 is the score I see. Maybe the Netherlands get a goal late in the second half to make this close, but 2-1 Le Bleu would be my pick.
2-1 Bleu tomorrow. Yeah, I think this is where France. You know what? Maybe I'm crazy, but I'm going to say I don't think the Netherlands are going to score, actually.
Interesting.
I think it'll be like 2-0, 1-0, 2-0 type of deal for France. I think France's defense is underrated. And I think, like I said, the Netherlands will create an opportunity or two, but I think the Netherlands are going to be more in a panic about not getting scored on by France. You know, like I said, it's time for teams to start dialing it up right now. These teams want to win their groups. And let's see what France has tomorrow. But I'll roll the dice with the French. All right, Julio, what about the earlier games here tomorrow? Slovakia, Ukraine. I'm going under 2.5. What do you got with this one?
Boy, I was surprised at the way Ukraine performed against Romania. I'm going to do under 2.5 goals, and I'm going to take Slovakia on the Asian handicap at plus a goal.
Yeah, I love the plus 1.5. I took Slovenia today plus 1.5. It was a 1-1 draw. And I parlayed it with Denmark plus 1.5, minus 132.
Yep.
We'll find some more of these parlays for tomorrow.
Crazy how many teams had a chance to win. The Ripper GC went from 9 back to leading by 2 to near the cellar again late in the day. It was so volatile, counting 4 scores. It was pretty nuts, but you know, the cliques have been cellar dwellers for basically 2.5 seasons, and they come out victorious today. That's awesome.
It'll be the summer of the cliques, definitely. So, like I said, there's definitely more to come from us.
It was a magnificent ball striking performance.
Yeah, you know, I got to speak to someone in his camp before he teed off this morning, and they said to me that he is finally feeling extremely comfortable out here. He's not thinking about any swing thought. He's going out there, he's swinging so freely, and it certainly showed today. The way he drove the ball, the way he hit his irons, and even in his putting as well.
Yeah, and lives in Texas, went to school in Texas. His tour win on the PGA Tour was here in Houston, which is Texas, and now his first live win, Texas.
Honestly, it was just a matter of playing solid coming down the stretch. I think there was a switch there on 15 that I made birdie, he made bogey, and I just knew that I had to power in pretty much, and it was mine. The 18 I made bogey, but it worked. He played unbelievable, and he put pressure all the way to the end, and it was a good battle. I love playing here. Obviously, Texas treats me well. It's my adopted home state, so I'm just happy to get it done again in Houston.
Let's roll. This is SportsRage. I'm Morency. Big card Julio in the house, the Rage Arena Cam Stewart. So, Cam, before we get you out of here, tomorrow, the Stanley Cup, there's a CFL game tomorrow. You got golf. Who you taking? The BC Lions are +2 at Winnipeg. And then we got the Stanley Cup final tomorrow. What are your picks?
I'm worried that Winnipeg started 0-2, but I'm going to take your BC Lions, Gabe, +2 money line, and we'll look at that. I'm not sure about the total of the game. Still got to think about it. Probably, I'm not sure, maybe the under, as crazy as that sounds. But anyway, hockey, I know everybody. Tommy, get ready to cut my mic. Florida Panthers, I'm riding them. First period, plus 105 money line. I'm taking the under in the hockey game. That's the only way I think they can win the game if it goes under 5.5. A 3-2 type of win, maybe in overtime. Connor Verhage to record a point at minus 140. And Florida in 6, Gabe. Cut my mic.
Interesting with the total tomorrow. Bold to go under at this stage. The way these games are going, you need to count on Bobrovsky, not to mention the potential for empty nets tomorrow. The first period is critical of this game to get to Bobrovsky early. And what about golf, Cam? What do you got for us?
Golf, just looking at live betting, you can't do anything with Scheffler. The guy had brought his A game. He's 5 under. Women's tournament, I'd be very careful, Gabe. Nelly Korda is 1 shot back, but I have a girl for you, and I've been doing some research. Her name's Leona Maguire from Ireland. Live right now, close to 20-1 is somebody I would look for the women's KPMG women's tournament. Live in golf, I've already got all of our guys, and we've had off to a great start in the tournament, Morency. All of our guys are like in the top 20, 30, but so I don't really have anything there. Tom Kim is leading, but yeah, I don't really have anything right now. Morikawa might make a good run. He missed a lot of putts today, but I already got him. I don't know who you like, but I'm very satisfied where I stay.
I haven't been. I like Ludwig Aberg coming in. That was my one pick.
He's okay. Aberg had a bad front 9, did really well on the back. He's showing momentum going into round 2. Live picks. I like Hatton like you at 12-1, Sergio at 20, and Paul Casey 35. They tee off on Friday. Good luck, everybody.
So Julio, Stanley Cup tomorrow night. What do you think about Game 6?
If the Oilers win it, it has to be in regulation. So give me Edmonton -1 in regulation plus 210. Game 7. Nothing better than a Game 7 in the Stanley Cup final.
You know what? I think that's not a bad way to go. I don't like -1s because I hate pushes after. So that's one thing I'll throw up there. But at the same point in time, if you like Edmonton tomorrow, like I do, why not play them -1.5 as well? Because if whoever's winning the game, unless the game is tied and we go to overtime, which I don't think the good people of Edmonton would be able to handle overtime in this spot. It would be fun TV for people, but dear God, if this game goes to overtime tomorrow night. But we've seen, look, how many 1-goal games have there been? I think there's been one 1-goal game. I think there was one. I think there was a 4-3 game, right? There's been one 1-goal game in this series. Most of the games have been, you get the empty netters and or the team wins by a couple of goals. And I can see this tomorrow as well. And for the record, I already threw out a score earlier. I threw it out last night. And it might be a little bit low, but my final score prediction is 4-2 for this game tomorrow, which means Edmonton wins. The game goes over the number, and they would cover on the puck line. Plus 210, guys. Edmonton Oilers minus a puck-and-a-half tomorrow. That's an attractive look right there, Julio.
Yeah, I like that. I like it a lot. Very good price.
-120 is just the straight-up money line play here. I'm going to be on that. We missed out on the Connor McDavid, if you didn't get in on it already, all the way up to -320 right now for Connor McDavid to win the Conn Smythe trophy, which means the media have basically already have their mind made up. But if you want to think outside the box, you can get some nice plus money on Barkov right now. If you think that, hey, they haven't given up on Bobrovsky, but I don't think they're going to give it to Bobrovsky. So at this point, maybe it would be Barkov, but I think it is pretty much a slam dunk that it's going to be Connor McDavid that wins the Conn Smythe trophy. All right, we'll get more of Julio's soccer picks on the other side because I know he's got a bunch more here.
Chile over Peru, right? Tomorrow? Copa?
What, in the Copa?
Yeah.